President Trump said there is no longer catch and release going to be happening in this country. When they catch migrants, they don't release them. They'll be put it back in the prison and they'll be sent it to their home country. But that's not happening. What Nix is telling now, in El Paso, there's hundreds of them have been released on the streets in America.
The details. In fact, she's not really said anything or released any official statement. We know that she arrived here at the end of business yesterday. And as you noted, she was expected to see the conditions at a variety of Border Patrol stations here in El Paso and also check on these medical screenings. If you remember, it was earlier this week that she announced what she called a series of extraordinary protective measures for migrants in U.S. custody, particularly children under the age of 10 who are now going to get secondary screenings. She's going to do that, the same thing that she did yesterday here in El Paso later today in Yuma, Arizona. Victor.
So, Nick, what are you learning about and what we've seen over the last several days, the hundreds of undocumented immigrants that have been just dropped off at a bus station or in the park across El Paso?
Yeah. So here's the really interesting thing to know. We've been here for the majority of the week, and as you know, President Trump has declared that catch and release is over, but that's not what we're seeing here with our own eyes. We've seen a steady stream of migrants dropped off by volunteers at this Greyhound bus station behind me, and it's really frustrating to local charities, if only because these types of releases by ICE onto the streets of America had been coordinated in the past before with local churches, with charities. That's not the case, and that's not what happened this week. In fact, I talked to a program director from a nearby church who tells me that even though he reached out to ICE to say that his church had the resources to handle as many migrants as needed, ICE still dropped off these migrants here at the bus station with no plan and no resources.
We were ready. We had staff all ready to take in refugees on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. And the next thing we know, we're watching the news and watching them as they're dropping them off in the streets.
We saw dozens of migrants dropped off here at the bus station yesterday, Victor. Very sad scene. At one point, we saw 15 to 20 migrants dropped off with about 5 to 6 children included. One of them, just a baby, being held in their mother's arms.